Come along with me on day one of my off-season trip to Cape Cod. I'm up here in Wellfleet with my family for a couple of days, and today we decided we would start off with a little hike. So we started with breakfast, and then we got in the car and drove up to Provincetown. Today we're going to be tackling the Beech Forest Trail. It's a short trail that's about a mile long, and then we opted to do a little extension into the Provincelands, which is this really cool stretch of land that's all dunes and sand. It feels like you're on another planet, honestly. And I love doing this trail in the off season because there's no one else out here. We've really had the whole place to ourselves. We were able to take in the view from the visitor center. Really great hike. Then next we drove up to Race Point Beach just to take in a little bit of time at the ocean. We saw this fox in the parking lot. That was super cool. I love the off season. It's just so peaceful up here. Next we stopped at Max to pick up some seafood for dinner. They always have fresh local fish. It's one of the best spots to shop. And then we went to Atlantic Spice Company on the way back. This is one of my favorite stores on Cape Cod. They just have this great selection of home goods, and then they make all of their own spices and teas as well. Of course, the only thing I ended up getting was that cute little glass crab because I just had to bring him home. Then it was time for cocktail hour, and we took in a little evening beach stroll. There was no one out here. It was so peaceful just to take in a little bit of the sunset and have the whole place to ourselves. And then it was time for dinner. We had those fresh clams, casino style, that my stepdad made. And then for dinner, it was pasta bolognese. Really a delicious meal to share with my family. We closed out with a round of cards. Come along on day two of my off-season trip to Cape Cod. This morning we're starting our day at PB Boulangerie and Bakery. This is one of my favorite spots in Wellfleet. It's a French bakery. They have all the classics, and today we opted for their bread of the day, which had potatoes and cheese. It was honestly incredible. Then I headed into Wellfleet Center with my mom to do a little bit of shopping. Although it was the off-season, enough places were open, so we were able to make an afternoon of it, just kind of looking for jewelry and clothes and seeing what was there. Then we headed over to the Timms Bridge hike, which is right in the middle of town and definitely easy to do if you're wandering around Wellfleet. And then we closed out our afternoon at a couple of galleries and met a couple little furry friends along the way too. I loved this gallery. It was huge. They had a great selection, and I ended up taking home this weird little bunny. Don't ask, I just loved it. Next, we headed to Provincetown, and I always make sure to stop in at Tim's Used Books. Picked up a couple of things here, and then headed to another favorite spot of mine, which is this vintage spot right on the water. I grabbed this bracelet and browsed all of their different vintage stuff they had. It was a great selection. You can't come to Provincetown without popping into Marine Specialty. They have shells and stuff. I didn't get anything here, but I always like to browse. And then lastly, I closed out my shopping spree by looking for some antiques. This place had this amazing display of glass and vintage ware. I could have spent an hour in there. Honestly, it was great. Next, I walked to dinner, and again, coming up here in the off season, you have town to yourself. It was really peaceful. And then we had dinner at Mews. It was delicious. The service was fantastic. I'll definitely come back here. Thanks for watching. Come along on day three of my off-season trip to Cape Cod. So today we woke up and it was pouring rain. So after a quick breakfast, we decided it was a great day to head to my favorite spot, which is Wellfleet Cinemas. I love this cinema. It's been open since the 50s and is basically unchanged. They're best known for their drive-in that's open during the summer, but their main cinema is open year-round. I always like to stop in when I'm in town. Then it was time for lunch, so we headed up to Provincetown and ate at Max. We had a couple oysters, a couple cocktails, and then we both got the fried fish sandwich. It was a really great lunch. After lunch, the sun finally came back out, so we headed up to Provincetown to go for a little walk. Since we had the nice weather, we decided that we would walk up to the West End and take in some of the historic homes and some of the gardens. It doesn't take much to get away from the busyness of Commercial Street and really find yourself in a peaceful, beautiful neighborhood. Provincetown is one of the oldest communities in the United States, and I always love looking at these homes. They're 100, 200 years old. There's a lot of history here. It's a lot to take in. It's beautiful. Then we decided it was time for a snack, so we stopped at the fudge store, picked up some peanut butter cups. I'm really excited to try this later. And then, guys, we saw this raven on our way back to the car. It was amazing. She was gigantic. It's our last night in town. We made sure to catch the sunset on our way back. What a beautiful night on Cape Cod. Thanks for watching, guys. Come along on day 4 of my off-season trip to Cape Cod. It's my last day here, unfortunately, and we woke up and had beautiful weather, so I took a little bit of time to walk around the yard of this rental house that we've been staying in and say goodbye until next time. And then for the 3rd day in a row, we're starting our day at PB Boulangerie and Bakery. I was hoping they would have my favorite today, and they did. It's this strawberry croissant. It is filled with jam, and it's the most delicious thing you've ever had in your life. Ryan got the quiche, and we also got another pastry to take home later. And then even though we were heading out of town, we still wanted to fit in a little bit of Cape Cod action today. So on our drive out of Wellfleet, we stopped at the Wellfleet Audubon Center. This is a nature preserve, and it's one of my favorite spots to come for a hike at any time of year. Then it was time to hit the road back to New York, but of course we wanted to fit in one more cool spot for today, so we stopped at Mystic Pizza in Mystic, Connecticut for a quick lunch. It's about halfway on the drive, so it's our tradition to stop here whenever we're headed back from the Cape. Thanks so much for watching this series, you guys. I feel like I made some really fun friends, and I really appreciate you watching.